Last time we were speaking about a variance analysis. We can broaden the discussion a bit to encompass the idea of exception reporting in a company. When everything is running according to expectations, it is natural that management has to pay only passing attention, let's say, to things that are going well. They want to focus on the problems, they want to focus on the unusual situations, they need to prioritize where to spend their time. Therefore, it makes sense to develop management reports where one doesn't have to go through all the transactions that a company does, but only have selected transactions that are lifted out and highlighted to management, particularly exceptions to normal operational working. This would be, for example, defects that are occurring in the production process. Exceptions can also take place, could also be represented by things that are going extremely well. For example, if the efficiency of labor suddenly shoots up so that the automobile is produced in half the time as budgeted, then of course that would be an exception that management should investigate as well, because perhaps people are not paying enough time and care to producing a safe car and that they're cutting corners. So exception reports can work with regard to positive and negative exceptions. Of course, investigating exceptions and variances of any type, I think common sense would say that management will want to prioritize and focus on large exceptions that may produce a big financial loss to a company. And of course, there's a cost-benefit principle here as well in point 2, that it's not worth spending the time to investigate an exception if the problem isn't big to begin with, or if the amount that can be saved is less than the time and expense it takes to perform the investigation. Okay, and finally, the methods of analyzing and presenting information. Communications and internal presentation is extremely important in a company in order to get the attention of decision makers, and also clearly to promote oneself within the organization and get the attention and respect of other people. So clearly in an organization we would expect formal reports to be made on a regular basis. Email is of course a very popular way to get information around, but of course people do print out reports as well, hopefully not excessively. There's a greater use of online databases so that managers can actually, instead of being sent a report, can go into the system in order to view information relating to something of interest to them. It may not be even within their own specific area of responsibility. They'd like to know and have access to what's happening in other parts of the company so that they have a total picture. Of course, PowerPoint presentations are a favored way of conveying information, especially not only general managers but consultants and investment bankers and so on. PowerPoint presentations in some cases are the only way in which some people seem to want to communicate with the world. And then of course the importance of being able to report orally, to be able to articulate, to present directly to other people, is a skill that should not be underestimated. Interpersonal skills, of course, are also an important part of the overall process of internal communication in a company, and not only within the company, but of course also towards shareholders. So company management speaking to shareholders through the annual report, through general meetings and so on, or through meetings with investment analysts who in turn are going to report back to the general public. These interpersonal skills are also extremely important. Finally, the management information paper cannot ignore the fact that spreadsheets are an integral part of business operations nowadays, and that the use of spreadsheets is so universal, or should be, that no one can really consider themselves to be a true business manager unless they have a basic understanding and use of spreadsheets, because spreadsheets are extremely powerful in their ability to present and manipulate information when doing budgets, for example, and starting with a fixed budget and then preparing flexible budgets as part of various scenarios. All of this work is immensely facilitated by the use of spreadsheets. To do such work manually on a piece of paper will take ages to perform, and therefore business processes have been sped up and budgeting processes have become easier to do and hopefully more meaningful because of this very important tool of spreadsheets. Of course, the candidate will probably want to do some hands-on review of looking at the formulas which exist within common spreadsheets and to learn how to operate them. It's usually a good practice in this case, makes perfect, or at least makes competent, possibly very, very good. And of course, one has to be careful, on the other hand, of being able to eliminate errors from creeping into spreadsheets, particularly when, as a business manager, you are reviewing the work done by someone else. It's very difficult to pick up errors when they're buried in formulas inside the spreadsheet. That's why normally the creator of a spreadsheet and a financial model normally has to be involved for an efficiency point of view throughout the process of feeding information into the model and being able to refine and improve the model. Interpreting the outcomes becomes a key part of the process of using spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are not merely a repository or a dumping ground for data. It's a way of being able to process data into meaningful information so that the business is in a better position to be able to make quality decisions and to outperform the competition, and hopefully be able to serve the customer more effectively along the way in a cost-efficient manner.